Hey guys, I'm back with a new video on the new archetype, not new, it's not new, but on the archetype Fire Kings. And this will be a pure Fire King video in which I will show you some combos and I will show you a deck profile and explain some choices I did. And yeah, let's hop right into it and let's go with the combos. So the first combo we've got right here is the combo with Barong and Ulcanix. So this will be starting by just normal summoning the Ulcanix. Ulcanix will then activate by destroying the Barong. Barong, as you know, will right now do nothing, but the Ponix that we search will do something, and this will special summon itself, then activate its effect, and get yourself the Sanctuary to hand activated, get Island. Island will then destroy the Ulcanix. Ulcanix will search the Garunix, and then the Garunix will also trigger and special summon itself, and the Ulcanix will trigger to special summon the old Garunix. And just like that, you've got 3 bodies on field. The Garunix will destroy the Avatar, and then the Avatar will then special summon the Ulcanix. Ulcanix and Garunix will then go into IP. You do this because you can summon this back. Then you'll go into Promethean Princess, and Promethean Princess will then summon back the Avatar. And just like that, just so you know, you're NIP-proof right here. But you're just going into the Emblem Whale with the other cards, and just like that, this is already your end board. This is pretty much one of your best combos, because in the next standby phase, the Barong will trigger and will add yourself the Kirin from deck, and you now have the Emblem Whale, the Avatar, and the Kirin. And now you might think, okay, that does not look like a lot. Of course, you still have the Princess engrave, and you've got the Garunix engrave to trigger, but you can also trigger your Emblem Whale, which, if this card is destroyed, it can special summon a link 3 or lower monster. You will just, for example, you can just do this with the Kirin. Kirin will destroy the Emblem Whale, and then Emblem Whale will trigger, and the Garunix will trigger because a fire got destroyed, and then you get Garunix and IP. And the Garunix will then trigger to get Kirin. Kirin can then special summon back the Ulcanix. Ulcanix can then destroy the Garunix to get yourself the Rangbali. Rangbali, when a Fire King is destroyed, can be summoned, and you can just immediately summon it as well, in the same way like the Garunix or the Ponix when you destroy a fire and add it from deck. And this can then be a spell and trap negate. Then you've got the IP for SP, and SP has 2 interruptions, 2 banishes, and you also got the Avatar to destroy the Kirin, and then you still have the Promethean Princess to trigger, and then the Avatar will summon back. This can be a body on field or in the end phase. If this gets destroyed, it will search another thing in the end phase, and just like that, you can then still trigger the Emblem Whale when the Promethean Princess or the SP is destroyed, and that's pretty much it. So you still got on the field, you've got the Rangbali negate, you've got the Avatar negate, you've got the Emblem Whale, the IP into SP, which is 2, the Kirin destruction, and you've got the Promethean Princess destruction. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 disruptions, and that's pretty much super strong. And if you still want to get your Fire King Sanctuary and destroy something, you can go through the combo a little bit differently and then just trigger the Fire King Sanctuary to get yourself the Garunix Eternity. But right now you don't need this in this combo, because if your opponent can play through all of this, then the Garunix wouldn't do much more. But I don't think most decks can play through this. And then the next combo will be Fire King Consort Ulcanix with the Kirin, and this is pretty similar, but you end up a little bit differently. So you're going to activate Ulcanix. Then, just to note here, your opponent has, after the activation, the chance to negate this, and then you can trigger the Kirin to destroy the Ulcanix, but you'll do this anyways. So if your opponent is intelligent and knows you probably have Kirin in hand, then he will probably not impermit and wait for the Kirin to trigger, because then you basically, yeah, end up with nothing or not much. But yeah, you're just going to trigger Ulcanix, and then chain link 2 will be Kirin to destroy the Ulcanix. Just like that, you will get a free body, because if you just let the Kirin in hand, then you'll just add anything, and then the Kirin will just stay in graveyard. And yeah, you'll add the Ponix, then the Ponix will trigger, and the Ulcanix and the Kirin will trigger. So you'll get the Ulcanix back, you'll special summon the Garunix from deck, and you'll special summon the Ponix. Ponix will then just add the Fire King Island and Sanctuary, and then you'll activate Island, and then you'll just go into the little Chimera. You can definitely do it in another way by just destroying the Ponix, and then just go for the Garunix line into Avatar, and that way you can get your bodies, or you can just go into Dual Chimera, because with the Chimera you can destroy it and get yourself Garunix, and then the Garunix will trigger and the Chimera will trigger to get yourself the Kirin. So that way you can add back the Kirin. This is just an example. You can also pretty much do the same thing as in the first combo, but right here I'm showing a different way. And then you will go and special summon the Garunix. Garunix will destroy Avatar, and Avatar can then summon back the Dual Chimera, because note this here, this can also, this does not have to special summon Fire King monsters. This can special summon the Fire Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast. And then you can just go into your Promethean Princess. Note right here, you can also go into the IP with the Garunix and the other Garunix, and then go into Princess, but then you'll end up without the Avatar on field. This is pretty much personal preference. If you need the Avatar right here on the field, if you want it in that situation on the end board, or if you are fine with just summoning it in the opponent's turn. And then you'll end up with the Emblem Whale, Avatar, and Kirin. So in this you'll not end up with the IP, but as I just said, you can just play it in another way so that you will get the SP on the field. Then let's go with a combo where you don't start with Ulcanix, and this is pretty much Ponix plus Avatar. And in this combo you'll basically end up with the same board. Not the same, but with a similar board. And in this you're going to normal summon Ponix, add the Sanctuary, and get Island, and then it's important that you'll now go into Almirage, because if you just destroy the Avatar without a Fire King in grave, you can't activate its effect, so you need it in graveyard. And yeah, you can't go into Anima, because you need a down arrow to go into SP later. So you're just going to activate Fire King Island, search the Garunix and destroy the Avatar, then trigger both. Avatar will special summon Ponix, and Garunix will special summon itself, and then Garunix will destroy the Kirin. Kirin will then special summon the Avatar, and note right here, this does play around Nip, because this is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th summon. So yeah, you can get Nip right here. And then you'll just go into IP, go into IP and Almirage, go into Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess summon back anything, does not matter right here. And then you'll just go into Emblem Whale, and then you pretty much have same or similar board as before, but you don't have the Kirin in hand. And that's super fine, because on the first monster you can just activate the, I think, do I do it? No, I don't do it right here, but you can just, on the first monster effect, go Avatar, destroy the Emblem Whale will trigger, Garunix will trigger, and then get IP back, IP and Garunix, and then you pretty much are on the same page as before and have a lot of interruptions. Then we've got the last combo, and this is a pretty weird looking combo, because it's not really a combo, but it's pretty much what you can do when you have a weird starting hand and you don't really have a way to start. In this scenario, you can think that you can just go Fire King Island, destroy Baron, and then go into Garunix. Garunix do anything, but we actually want to do something else right here, because we want to yeah, pretty much have our full board. And you can do that by just activating the first Fenrir, get another Fenrir, and this is really important that you get the other Fenrir, because this is not just a body, but it's also, yeah, a free destroy, because the Fire King Island does not have to destroy a fire monster. It just adds a Fire King monster, but you don't have to destroy a Fire King monster. You're just going to add Ulcanix, and now you can see why you need another fire in hand. And you will just normal summon the Ulcanix right now, Ulcanix destroy Barong, and then you'll special summon the Garunix. Then Garunix will trigger destroy the Ulcanix, and Ulcanix will special summon the old Garunix. And now you can get the hidden effect of the Ulcanix, because this not only searches a monster, but it can also becomes the level of the monster that it searches. It doesn't have to, but you can make it that level. And then you just have 3 level 8s, and just like that, you just go into Giant Trainer. And this is also your way to kill your opponent in time, because this burns when it, I think, shows a monster. Yeah, if it was a monster, inflict 800 damage to your opponents. So this pretty much draws 3 cards, and right here in that example, I draw a Fire, I draw a Kirin, and I'll draw Ponix, and the odds of that aren't that low, because I did not have a Ponix in hand, so I have 3 in deck, I have 3 Kirin in deck, I have 3 Ash in deck, okay, I have many fires in deck. In this example, it's just important that you draw a fire, a Kirin or Ponix, like anything that can destroy something and can trigger to special summon. So drawing these 2 cards together is just super strong. Otherwise, I would just have to pretty much summon Kirin and then destroy a fire, go into IP, and then I would have the Fenrir, the IP into SP, and then Ash Blossom in hand, which is still not that bad. Yeah, so in this example, we'll just use the Kirin, destroy the Ash in hand, then we'll trigger the Ponix, which will then search not the Sanctuary, because we already have Islands, and then we'll just get the Skyburn, and then IP into Promethean Princess, and then Promethean Princess summon back anything, does not really matter right here. And then we will just go into Ambler Whale, and just like that, once again, this is not the most overwhelming board, but you'll get the Kirin from the Baron you just destroyed in the beginning, and you can just trigger the Ambler Whale by destroying, and then Ambler Whale will summon back the IP. Then we could of course have the Kashtira Fenrir effect, which is our first interruption. Then we'll go into SP, which is our second and third interruption. Then, for example, we can trigger the Promethean Princess, which is our 4th interruption, then Kirin effect, which is our 5th interruption, and then the Garunix effect. So we have a lot of effects right here. And then we still have the Garunix to activate, and we've got the Consort Ulcanix, which can destroy a fire and add a card. And right here I destroyed the Promethean Princess, which was a mistake, because you have to destroy a Fire King. And search the Rangbali, because this only triggers when you destroy a Fire King, not a fire monster. So yeah, just imagine I destroyed the Garunix right there. And then with the Garunix I'll destroy the Avatar, and then the Avatar will trigger, the Ambler Whale will not trigger, because yeah, as I said, I shouldn't have destroyed the Promethean Princess right here, but it's okay, we can all see that. And the Rangbali will trigger. So we've already got, so what did I say? Fenrir, 2 SP Little Knight, the Kirin, the Promethean Princess, which is 5. Then we've got the Rangbali, and we've got the Avatar, which, no, the Avatar only special summoned back, so we're pretty much at 6. Then we've got the Ambler Whale and Graveyard, which will come later, because just as I said, there would be no Garunix but a Promethean Princess. So if we now activate the Rangbali to destroy the Promethean Princess, then we can also activate the Ambler Whale to destroy a card on the opponent's board. And then we still have the Skyburn. So we are at 7 interruptions with a hand that looked almost super awful and unplayable, and that's why I do think this deck is super strong. Yeah, it just is. Yeah, okay, so that's it about the combos. We're just going into the deck profile for post ROTA. So as you can see, it's a super budget deck because we only play 3 Pharos and only 3 Dominus Impulse. And just note, I hope you all have seen my latest video where I talk about the Pharos and the Impulse. But if you're on a budget, just don't play these cards, play other non-engine cards, maybe other fire cards, whatever. Yeah, that's basically it. But we're playing 3 Ash, 3 Pharos, 3 Dominus Impulse, 3 Imperm, and 3 Fenrir for the non-engine cards. Then we also got 1 Caught By, 1 Crossout, just for the Pharos, because why not? I could have played more Crossouts, but I actually did not want to play as many because I don't want to draw 2 Crossouts, and I think 5 cards against this is okay. And yeah, then we've got 3 Garunix, because in this deck this is actually not a bad draw, because you always want to have this to trigger anything when something is destroyed, and having this in hand also means that you don't have to rely on it staying in the graveyard, because if your opponent DD Crows it, yeah, then you can't get it back from the graveyard, so you rather want to trigger this from the end. Then 3 Ulcanix, this is your best starter, as I just showed. This plus any fire is already full combo, so the Emblo Whale board plus Kirin or plus Avatar. And Ponix is also a super good draw because, as I just said, as well as the Garunix, having this in hand means that you don't have to search this with the Ulcanix. So if you, for example, have Ulcanix plus Ponix plus a fire, you don't have to go Ulcanix, destroy fire, search Ponix, but you can be Ulcanix, destroy fire, search Kirin, and then you don't have to go for a weird combo line, searching Kirin or getting it back with Sunlight Wolf or whatever, but you already have it. And that's why having those two together is a super good hand. And yeah, that's basically it about this. And then we've got 3 Kirin, also super strong card. I can just say that about every card. The only cards you don't want to draw that often are Baron, because I showed a good combo about this, but you don't want to draw this as multiples. I already thought about playing it at 2, but I actually think that the combo with 1 Baron and 1 Ulcanix is super strong, and just having this searching Kirin is super good. And yeah, then we've got 2 Avatar, also same thing. I could have played this at 3, but I think it's good, but it's not a main combo starter on its own. And yeah, you always want to have 1 in deck, because you can play this at 1 because you always want to have 1 in deck, yeah. Then we've got 1 Rangbali. I showed this in one of the combos, where you can summon this in the opponent's turn by special summoning the Ulcanix with Kirin from your graveyard, and that's just super good because it's a free spell and trap negate, and I just think it's good to play it as a one-off. Then the Garunix, which is mandatory. It really does not do anything, but you can special summon with the Ulcanix from deck, which is a free body, and that's why I do think that it's mandatory. Then we've got 2 Island, 2 Sanctuary, and Skyburn. These aren't really bricks, because if you draw them, then you still have a good starter, as I just showed in the Fenrir plus Fire combo. And Skyburn is just mandatory because if you already have those, then you want to draw or search anything else, and that's why I do think this is good. You can also play the Circle, but I do think running both is a little bit too much, because you still want to have non-engine. And yeah, then we've got, as I said, Crossouts and Fenrirs, and that's basically it about the list. The extra deck is pretty standard for Fire King. You could definitely cut some cards like the Unicorn or the Access Code Talker. I just didn't want to play cards like the Top Hat Hare, the Silhouette Rabbit, because of the Dominus Impulse, because it's a light monster and you cannot activate light effects under the restriction of Dominus Impulse. That's why I just went for the Darks in Access Code Talker and Unicorn. Then we've got the typical Raging Phoenix Zelantis OTK, the Embler Whale, which is super mandatory in this deck. And then we also got IPSP mandatory, Sunlight Wolf adding back fires like Kirin or like the Rangbali, or Ash Blossom, of course, is really strong. Heater, of course, if it's not fire format anymore, you can definitely cut this, but right now it's good. And yeah, Phoenix, yeah, don't have to explain this. Duelit Chimeras combo piece, and also good for OTK reasons because it boosts all your fires by 500. Almirage, as I just showed, you need it for the combo. You can also play Anima if you want to cut anything else, but I did not find anything else to cut. And then we have the Garunix Eternity, which of course you can summon in your opponent's turn, but it's also really good as a board breaker. And of course the Coach King Giant Trainer, which is also, as I just showed, a really good card because it can just draw 3 cards, it can burn, and of course it will also be a way to win in time. Yeah, that's it about the deck profile. Side deck depends on the format. If you want any tips, just write a comment, ask me for some tips on the side deck. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you think of the Fire King deck in the upcoming format, because you know there will be Tempai, there will be Yubel, there will be Fiendsmith, Snake Eye, and also the new Asamina cards. And just tell me what you think. Is this a tier 2 deck? In my opinion, it is really strong, and if you know how to pilot this deck, you can definitely play it at high class events. And yeah, I hope you have a nice day, and stay safe, and goodbye.